Zoe Canella reporting for Kids First, and today I'm here with Mark Simon, aka the godfather of storyboarding. Mark is known for his work, and he's been on Stranger Things and so many other things. He's a producer, a director, and a storyboard artist. Hi, Mark. How are you?
How you doing, Zoe? Glad to be here.
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. When or how did you discover that you love to draw, and when did you start working professionally?
I've always loved to draw. I don't remember really ever wanting to do anything else. I was never the kid that wanted to be a policeman or a fireman or an astronaut. I was always going to be an artist. All my test papers had cartoons on them. My handwriting is absolutely terrible. No one could read it, but you could always understand my cartoons. I mean, it literally was my life, and it always has been. It's never stopped. And And my first professional job as a designer, I was 12. I was a competitive skateboarder when I was living in Houston, and I designed my own line of skateboards, and I also built my own line of skateboards, and I got Schwinn to distribute them for me.
That is
Um,
so cool.
yeah, and then as an artist, see, then I started doing design work and construction with my dad. My father owned a big custom home building company. And when I was 14, I started running his crews. They gave me a car when I was 14, and I would drive out to the job sites, get them started. Then I would drive to middle school. I was the only kid, obviously, driving to middle school because it wasn't legal, but I did it. And I did that all the way up until I left for college. But then I started designing all of his marketing and doing architectural renderings for his homes, and we started building commercial property as well. So then I started picking up like one of my girlfriends, her father was a commercial builder. So I was doing architectural illustration for him. And then I started working at outside of working with Dad, I started working at an advertising agency. But I felt they were moving too slowly. So I watched what they did and thought, well, I can do that. So I opened up my own marketing and advertising firm when I was, I don't know, 16 or 17. And I actually paid my way through college doing that. I was also in college, I was also the school cartoonist. I also published a magazine to 4 different universities in college. And that's when I thought, when I graduated, I thought, well, Hollywood sounds cool. So I just moved. I didn't know anyone. I'd never been there. I just sold everything, moved to LA. I started as an art director because I built so many things and designed so many things. I just started as an art director on my first movie. But I wasn't drawing as much. I was designing and I was building, but I wasn't drawing. So I transitioned into storyboarding while I was still in LA. And then I continued transitioning when I moved to Orlando, because I helped open up Nickelodeon with my wife. And then when Steven Spielberg came into town with an old TV series long before you were born called Sequest, I left Nickelodeon and I became a full-time story artist working with Steven Spielberg.
Wow, that's incredible. And the fact that you started working at 12, I'm not even 12 yet. I'm turning 12 in August. Well, it is August, but soon. That's awesome that you got to do so much. And still can't believe that you could drive at 14.
Well, like I said, I didn't get my license till I was 15, but because Dad needed me to work the job sites, he just gave me a car, said, don't break any rules, you won't be pulled over. So.
Wow. What do you think makes a good storyboard artist? Do you think drawing skills, storytelling, or both?
Well, you've already hit one of the main things most people don't get. So, hats off to you. The reason we're called story artists is because we're telling a story. If you don't understand how to visually tell a story, you can't be a storyboard artist. If you're slow at drawing, you can't be a storyboard artist. So it's a number of things. It's a position where we have to be able to sketch anything really quickly, because I'm often, my low day is about 30 drawings in a day, but I'm often drawing over 100. And that's including meeting times and everything else. But I have to understand the script. I have to understand special effects, because I'm usually drawing special effects and stunts. So the director's vision can be given to the crew, but the crew then has to be able to translate what I've drawn so they all know what they need to do. So I have to understand every aspect of special effects, how they're broken down, how stunts are done. I need to understand camera angles. I need to understand different lenses on a camera. If there's a difference between a wide angle lens and what it looks like when someone's up close versus a long lens, what that does on the relationships between the people, all of that makes a difference on what we're telling you as the viewer. So I study all that, and I study editing, directing, all of that. So there's a lot to the position I'm in.
Yeah, you pretty much answered my next question. I was going to ask you, do you need a lot of knowledge and film narrative to create all these storyboards?
Yeah, you do. Not all story artists think and work the same way I do, uh, but I think it's to their detriment when they don't. I even take it a step further, because as a story artist, my main goal is to illustrate the director's vision. So for instance, if you read Harry Potter and one of your friends reads Harry Potter, you're seeing different images in your head. But the only image that matters in a script is the director's vision. So I have to get into the director's head, and I've got a whole lot of tricks, including using, these action figures, anything I can, so that we're all working towards just the director's vision. But I will also go and watch other movies or TV shows that directors have done, because they all have their own style. So I'll study the style of every director before I work with them. So it's a shortcut of my then knowing, okay, they like close-ups this way, or they move the camera, or they like to center things. Whatever it is, I try to figure out before I start working with them.
Wow, that's so cool that you have all these different techniques.
Yeah,
Um, Stranger Things is definitely one of my favorite shows
mine too.
of all times. I actually interviewed Carrie Elwes a while back, and it was so special. And this is also very special because, as I said, love Stranger Things so much. Have you ever met like the cast members, and how is the process of doing the storyboard for Stranger Things?
I've not met the cast on that show, because we right after I started working on Stranger Things, we all went into well, everything stopped. All production stopped. So I'm on hiatus on that show right now. So I'm just waiting for it to start back up. So I've only worked with the producers, directors, and director of photography. I've not met the cast yet. Um, but the process is pretty much the same on all TV shows, where they'll send me the script. I'll read through it a couple times so I understand it. Of course, I watch the show. I'm a big fan, so I know who the characters are and how the show works. And then I ask for a lot of reference information. So if I don't know the cast, I ask for headshots, or photos of the cast and what they're wearing. I go out and look at locations, or they send me location photos, or if they're building sets, they send me photos or blueprints of how it's going to be built. I ask for pictures of any special props, like if there's special cars or planes. Like for instance, there's a plane in this one episode that I'm storyboarding. Well, there's a big difference between a small plane and a big plane, and is it nice on the inside, or what's in it, all those types of things. So they sent me a couple pictures, but then I actually went with the director, and we went out to the plane and got in it, and we actually acted out all the action, and I took reference photos myself of all the different shots that he and I were planning on. So that helped a lot. And then it comes down to just asking a tremendous number of questions when I'm working with directors. And now, because of COVID, we're not able to work face to face. So for instance, I just started working on another HBO series called The Flight Attendant. Hasn't come out yet. It's a show that's going to be on HBO Max with Kelly Kuko. Kelly, she was the star of Big Bang Theory, if you've ever seen that. So on that, I work just the way you and I are talking right now. We're on Zoom or Google Hangouts or whatever, but I will actually share my screen, and I can do it here at some point if you'd like to see how it works. I just share my screen and I draw here, and the director and the director of photography and the producers can see what I'm drawing, just as if we're sitting next to each other. It's a fantastic way to work, and it keeps everyone safe.
I totally agree. Thank you so much for talking with me. I had such an amazing time, and it's great to see how you do your job, and I'm very invested in how you do everything.
Well, that's great. You're amazing. This was fun. Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure.